Another warm day out there. Goodness.
Really warm.
It's just unusual how warm it is out there, especially with how long it's still going to stick around, likely even into Christmas. Here's a live look up at the plaza in Santa Fe, where we broke a record high temperature this afternoon, climbing up to 58 degrees today, breaking that old record by a couple degrees today too. 56 now. Sun is beginning to set. It's calm and quiet out there. At least the good news this time of year, even though we're setting these record high temperatures in the afternoon, the air is extremely dry, so that allows temperatures to cool down pretty quickly. So our mornings are still pretty cold across much of New Mexico, but the afternoons warm up very quickly as well. Deming, TRC, Raton, Farmington, also a few other places that have either tied or broken record high temperatures. Deming made it up to 72, TRC hit 66, so did Raton. Farmington hit 58 degrees, breaking that record by 1 degree. We're still sitting in the upper 50s in Farmington this evening, 62 out in Gallup, almost tying a record high out there. Here in Albuquerque, we're also 1 degree away from tying a record high temperature for today. 60s across nearly the entire eastern half of New Mexico. Carlsbad at 72. Deming back down to 70 degrees right now as well, and we're in the 60s across the rest of the southern part of the state. Winds have been picking up, though, along the Sangre de Cristo Mountains and into northeastern New Mexico, where places like Angel Fire have seen 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts this afternoon. And then across northeastern New Mexico, we're seeing gusts as strong as 41 miles per hour up in Clayton. Those winds are expected to stick around through tonight across northern parts of New Mexico, especially, again, the Sangre de Cristo Mountains into northeastern parts of the state. We could still see wind gusts as high as 40 to 50 miles per hour in places like Raton, down to Las Vegas, Clines Corners, even Santa Rosa, with even a nose of windier weather all the way down to the east slopes of the Sacramentos. By tomorrow morning, though, winds start dying down in the lower elevations. We're still going to hang on to some of that windy weather along the Sangre de Cristo mountain peaks, along just the east slopes, and even as far south as the East Mountains and Clines Corners. But already by noon tomorrow, the wind should be dying down as we get a bit of a weak backdoor cold front to move into the eastern part of the state. High wind warnings and orange and wind advisories are in effect right now for eastern and northeastern New Mexico, along with the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. Up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible in the high wind warning areas, up to 55-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible in those wind advisories, and that's in effect until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Sunny skies across New Mexico, though, and even with that weak cold front tomorrow, it's still going to stay warm across the state. That front could bring in a bit of a breezy easterly wind tomorrow afternoon across eastern New Mexico, lowering temperatures just slightly, although we'll be back into the 70s ahead of that front in Roswell, Carlsbad, and the rest of New Mexico still going to be unseasonably warm. A westerly downsloping wind will develop starting Friday, and that's really going to start warming up temperatures once again, with more widespread record-breaking highs Friday and Saturday across New Mexico, even hitting 80s down into southeastern parts of the state, as temperatures are going to stay 10 to over 20 degrees warmer than normal for this time of year, in the mid-50s every day up in Durango. There is going to be a chance for some snow next week up into the San Juan Mountains, but that'll mainly stay up in the mountains and north of Durango, Pagosa, and Cortez. Highs will be up to around 60 starting Friday up in Farmington and climbing to the low 60s early next week. Stretch of highs in the 70s begin tomorrow in Las Cruces, and we'll stick with those all the way at least through Christmas Eve. We'll be up to 80 on Saturday in Roswell, breaking a record high temperature there. Cooling off a little bit Sunday, but it's back up into the mid-70s for the week of Christmas. Still looking at some breezy to windy weather, though, tomorrow and Friday in Las Vegas. Temperatures very warm, staying in the mid-upper 60s even, as highs will also make it up into the 60s in Santa Fe. We could be looking at a handful of record high temperatures still over the next week, with this warm weather sticking around through at least Christmas Eve and very likely into Christmas Day as well. Here in the metro, highs will be up into the 60s again tomorrow, looking at close to a record high, but we're expecting to break record highs Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and next Monday, getting close to 70 degrees on Saturday.
Man, when will it end?
I know.
All right, thank you, Grant. Stay with us. We'll be right back.